The morning air, usually crisp and invigorating, clung to my skin like a damp cloth, heavy and oppressive. It was a stillness that pressed against my eardrums, a silence so profound it seemed to amplify the subtle thrumming of my own heartbeat. The sun, a celestial artist painting the dawn with hues of gold and rose, struggled to penetrate the thick, hazy atmosphere, casting long, distorted shadows that stretched across my bedroom floor like grotesque, elongated figures. I stirred beneath the weight of my comforter, a vague sense of unease settling in the pit of my stomach, a premonition that whispered of impending change, of an unseen storm gathering on the horizon. I couldn't quite place the source of this disquiet, but it was a palpable presence, a shadow that lingered just beyond the periphery of my consciousness. Little did I know, this seemingly ordinary day, this unassuming morning that held the promise of routine and familiarity, was about to shatter the fragile tapestry of my reality, unraveling the threads of my life, and revealing a truth so profound, so devastating. It would leave me questioning every memory, every relationship, every foundation I had ever known. The simple act of rising from my bed, of stretching and preparing for what I assumed was another routine day, a day filled with mundane tasks and predictable rhythms, was about to be obliterated by a single cruel sentence. A sentence that would echo through the chambers of my heart, shattering the illusion of familial love and replacing it with a cold, stark truth. You're not my real daughter. The words, when they finally came, were delivered with a chilling detachment, a casual cruelty that belied the enormity of their impact, a disregard for the emotional earthquake they would unleash. I remember the air catching in my throat, a silent scream trapped within my chest, a suffocating pressure that threatened to crush my lungs. As the world around me began to blur and distort, the familiar contours of my room dissolving into a swirling vortex of confusion and disbelief. The man I had called a dad, the man who had been my anchor, my protector, my unwavering source of strength and support, was now a stranger, a harbinger of betrayal, a figure shrouded in an aura of cold, calculated cruelty. Initially, disbelief was my shield, a desperate attempt to cling to the familiar, to dismiss his words as a cruel, unfunny joke, a momentary lapse of judgment that would soon be retracted with an apologetic smile. But as the day wore on, as the details began to surface, as the pieces of the puzzle began to fall into place, a horrifying realization dawned. This was no jest, no momentary lapse of judgment. This was a calculated revelation, a deliberate act of deception aimed at stripping me of my identity, my inheritance, my very sense of belonging. The more I delved into the tangled web of lies, the more I understood the depth of his treachery. A betrayal that cut deeper than any physical wound, leaving scars that would forever alter the landscape of my soul. Scars that would serve as a constant reminder of the fragility of trust and the insidious nature of deception. But amidst the shock and despair, a flicker of defiance ignited within me, a spark of resilience that refused to be extinguished. He had underestimated my strength, my determination to uncover the truth. He had never anticipated the storm that would follow, the fierce, unwavering pursuit of justice that would expose his deceit and reclaim what was rightfully mine, a pursuit that would transform me from a victim into a warrior. My childhood, once a cherished memory, now seemed like a carefully constructed illusion, a mosaic of seemingly idyllic moments that masked a dark, underlying truth. It was a narrative of a loving, albeit single-parent, family, a story that had been meticulously crafted to conceal the gaping hole at its center. My father, Richard, was my constant, my guide, the sturdy oak against which I leaned, the unwavering presence that filled the void left by my mother's absence. He was the one who patiently taught me the delicate balance of riding a bicycle, his hands steadying me as I wobbled and swayed, his voice a reassuring murmur in my ear. He was the one who applauded my clumsy attempts at piano melodies, his eyes filled with what I believed was paternal pride, his applause a validation of my efforts. He was the one who stood unwavering at my school plays, his eyes filled with what I believed was paternal pride, his presence a comforting beacon in the sea of unfamiliar faces. My mother, Sarah, was a hazy memory, a gentle whisper of a woman lost too soon to a cruel illness, a phantom presence that lingered in the shadows of our home. Her absence created a void, a gaping hole in the fabric of our family, but Richard filled it with a dedication that seemed to transcend the ordinary, a devotion that bordered on obsession. Our home, a quaint two-story house filled with the comforting scent of old books and freshly baked cookies, was our sanctuary, a world where love and security reigned, a haven from the harsh realities of the outside world. Or so I believed. My grandmother, Eleanor, was the silent guardian of our family history, a woman of quiet strength and unwavering wisdom, a matriarch who held the threads of our lineage in her capable hands. She was the keeper of our secrets, the silent observer who seemed to see beyond the surface, into the depths of our hearts, into the hidden corners of our souls. When she passed away, the world seemed to tilt on its axis, the familiar foundations of my life beginning to crumble, the carefully constructed facade of our family life beginning to crack. The grief was a crushing weight, a suffocating blanket that threatened to smother me in its suffocating embrace, a constant reminder of the fragility of life and the inevitability of loss. But amidst the sorrow, I noticed a subtle shift in Richard's demeanor. He became withdrawn, his eyes clouded with a coldness I had never seen before, a distant detachment that sent shivers down my spine. The warmth that had once radiated from him, the comforting glow that had been a constant source of reassurance, was replaced by a chilling indifference, a distant aloofness that left me feeling lost and bewildered, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. I tried to bridge the gap, to understand his sudden change, to penetrate the wall of silence that had sprung up between us. But my efforts were met with stony silence, an impenetrable wall that left me feeling lost and bewildered, a stranger in my own home. Then came the day that shattered everything. The day he sat me down in the living room, his face etched with a grim resolve, his eyes devoid of the warmth I had once known. His voice, once a source of comfort, a soothing melody that had lulled me to sleep, was now a weapon, sharp and precise, cutting through the layers of my innocence, shattering the illusions of my childhood. "You're not my real daughter. You were adopted." So the words hung in the air, heavy and suffocating, each syllable a hammer blow to my heart. A devastating revelation that threatened to unravel the very fabric of my existence. The initial shock was a paralyzing wave, a tsunami of disbelief that threatened to drown me in its wake. A force so powerful it threatened to shatter the very core of my being. Adopted? The word echoed in my mind, a foreign concept that seemed to belong to another life, another story, a narrative that had been superimposed onto my own. How could this be? How could the man who had raised me, who had been my constant companion, reveal such a profound truth with such nonchalant cruelty, with such a casual disregard for the emotional devastation he was inflicting? The question swirled in my head, a chaotic storm of confusion and pain, a tempest that threatened to tear me apart from the inside out. Why now? Why after all these years? Why had he kept this secret hidden, allowing me to live a lie, to build my life on a foundation of falsehoods, to construct my identity on a foundation of sand? Then, as if the initial revelation wasn't devastating enough, he dropped another bombshell, another cruel twist of the knife, another calculated act of emotional violence. He confessed that his decision to adopt me was not born of love or compassion, but of obligation, a sense of duty that had been imposed upon him by my grandmother's dying wish. My grandmother, in her wisdom and foresight, had asked him to take me in, to provide me with a home and a family, to shield me from the harsh realities of the world. And now that she was gone, he felt no need to continue the charade, no obligation to maintain the pretense of fatherly affection, no desire to perpetuate the lie that had defined our relationship. The coldness in his eyes, the detachment in his voice, was a testament to his words, a stark reminder of the transactional nature of our relationship, a cold, calculated exchange that had been devoid of genuine affection. But the most insidious part of his revelation was the motive behind it. The dark, selfish reason for his sudden honesty, the hidden agenda that lurked beneath the surface of his words. My grandmother in her will had bequeathed me a substantial inheritance, a legacy meant to secure my future, a testament to her love and concern for my well-being. However, there was a condition. The inheritance was contingent upon my biological relationship to her. If I wasn't her granddaughter, the money would revert to Richard, a cruel twist of fate that transformed my inheritance into a pawn in his selfish game. And in that moment, the pieces of the puzzle fell into place. The years of subtle indifference, the sudden coldness, the calculated revelation it was all a ploy, a desperate attempt to seize control of my inheritance, a calculated maneuver to strip me of my rightful legacy. He had waited until my grandmother's passing, until the truth could no longer be disputed, to reveal his deception, hoping to exploit my vulnerability and manipulate the legal system to his advantage. The realization was a crushing blow, a betrayal that cut deeper than any wound, leaving me feeling hollow and adrift, a stranger in my own life, a ghost haunting the halls of my own memories. Driven by a desperate need to reclaim my identity, to prove my connection to my grandmother, I embarked on a relentless quest for the truth, a journey into the labyrinth of my own past, a search for the missing pieces of my shattered identity. I delved into the dusty archives of our family history, searching for any tangible proof of my lineage, any concrete evidence that could validate my claim to my grandmother's legacy. Old family photos, once cherished mementos, now held the potential for hidden clues, subtle hints that could unravel the mystery of my birth, visual fragments of a past that had been deliberately obscured. I meticulously examined each photograph, searching for familiar features, for subtle resemblances that could link me to my grandmother's lineage, for any visual confirmation of my place within the family tree. Birth certificates, official documents that should have provided clarity, instead offered only more questions, more riddles to solve. My own birth certificate was a copy, a mere shadow of the original, a pale imitation that lacked the authenticity of the genuine article. The original, the document that held the key to my origins, was nowhere to be found, lost in the labyrinth of bureaucratic red tape or deliberately concealed by those who sought to erase my past. The absence of this crucial document fueled my suspicion, suggesting a deliberate attempt to erase my origins, to obscure the truth of my birth, to sever the ties that bound me to my past. My baby photos, once proudly displayed in family albums, had mysteriously vanished, leaving gaping holes in my childhood memories, blank spaces in the narrative of my life. It was as if someone had meticulously erased my existence, systematically dismantling the evidence of my past, rewriting the story of my life to suit their own selfish purposes. The more I searched, the more I uncovered a pattern of deliberate obfuscation, a carefully constructed web of lies designed to conceal the truth. A conspiracy of silence that had shrouded my existence in a veil of mystery. But amidst the growing despair, a flicker of hope emerged, a beacon in the darkness, a glimmer of light that pierced the shadows of my uncertainty. In a moment of serendipitous discovery, I stumbled upon a hidden compartment in my grandmother's old jewelry box, a secret sanctuary that held a treasure trove of her personal artifacts, a repository of her memories and secrets. And within this hidden space, I found a letter, a carefully preserved testament to her love and wisdom, a message that would ultimately shatter the carefully constructed illusions of my past, a revelation that would rewrite the narrative of my life. Before I reveal the contents of that letter, before I unveil the secrets that lay hidden within its faded pages, I must pause and ask you, the reader, to reflect on your own experiences, to consider the complexities of human relationships and the fragility of trust. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted, someone you loved, someone you believed would always be there for you? Have you ever had your past rewritten, your memories distorted, your identity questioned, your sense of self undermined by the actions of those closest to you? Have you ever felt the sting of betrayal, the soul-crushing weight of realizing that the people closest to you, the ones you believed were your protectors, were actually the architects of your deception, the masterminds behind the carefully constructed lies that had shaped your reality? Because that is the essence of my story, a narrative woven with threads of betrayal, resilience, and the unwavering pursuit of truth. A tale that explores the dark corners of human nature and the enduring power of the human spirit. My father, the man who had raised me, the man I had trusted implicitly, had manipulated my life for his own selfish gain, exploiting my vulnerability for his own financial benefit, sacrificing my happiness for his own greed. The letter I held in my hands, a fragile piece of paper imbued with the essence of my grandmother's spirit, was about to expose his treachery, to unravel the carefully constructed lies that had shrouded my existence. To shine a light on the dark secrets that had been buried for so long, it was a testament to her love, a beacon of truth in a sea of deception, a final act of protection from beyond the grave, a message of hope that transcended the boundaries of life and death. And as I prepared to delve into its contents, I knew that my life was about to change irrevocably, that the secrets it held would shatter the illusions of my past and reshape the landscape of my future, that the revelations within its pages would redefine my identity and alter the course of my destiny. My story, though deeply personal, resonates with a universal theme, a narrative that echoes through the corridors of human experience, a tale that explores the timeless themes of betrayal, identity, and the search for truth. Family secrets, hidden motives, lies masquerading as truths, these are the shadows that lurk in the corners of our lives. The unspoken truths that threaten to undermine the foundations of our relationships, the insidious forces that can erode the trust we place in those we love. We often believe that family is a sanctuary, a haven of unconditional love and unwavering support, a refuge from the harsh realities of the outside world. But the reality is often more complex, more nuanced, and sometimes more treacherous, a landscape fraught with hidden agendas and unspoken resentments. The bonds of blood, the ties of kinship, can be twisted and distorted by greed, jealousy, and the relentless pursuit of self-interest. The dark forces that can corrupt even the most sacred of relationships. My father's actions, though shocking, are not unique. They are a reflection of the human capacity for deception, the lengths to which some will go to protect their own interests, even at the expense of those they claim to love, the willingness to sacrifice the happiness of others for their own selfish gain. But amidst the darkness, there is always a glimmer of hope, a beacon of truth that refuses to be extinguished, a force that transcends the limitations of human fallibility. No matter how deeply buried, how meticulously concealed, the truth has a way of surfacing, of revealing itself in the most unexpected ways, of shining a light on the hidden corners of our lives. My grandmother, in her wisdom and foresight, had anticipated the possibility of betrayal, had prepared a safeguard against the machinations of greed, had left a legacy that transcended material wealth. She had given me the gift of truth, the power to reclaim my identity, to rewrite the story of my life with the ink of resilience and self-discovery, to forge my own path in the world. And in doing so, she had empowered me to reclaim my narrative, to rewrite the story of my life with the ink of truth and resilience, to transform myself from a victim into a victor. The letter, its paper aged and brittle, felt like a relic from a forgotten era, a whisper from the past that held the power to shatter the present, a message from beyond the grave that carried the weight of untold secrets. As I carefully unfolded it, my heart pounded in my chest, a drumbeat of anticipation and dread, in rhythm that echoed the turmoil within my soul. The words written in my grandmother's elegant script were a testament to her unwavering love and her profound understanding of the human heart, a message of hope and resilience that transcended the boundaries of time and space. She began by acknowledging the possibility of my father's deception, his potential to betray my trust for his own selfish gain, his capacity for greed to overshadow his compassion. She confessed that she had always harbored doubts about his sincerity, his capacity for genuine affection, his ability to love unconditionally. She had seen the subtle signs, the fleeting glimpses of indifference that belied his outward facade of paternal love, the moments of coldness that hinted at a deeper, darker truth. And in her wisdom, she had taken steps to protect me, to ensure that I would one day know the truth, regardless of his actions, to safeguard my identity and my inheritance from his selfish machinations. She revealed that she had known all along that Richard was not my biological father, that I was adopted, that my origins were shrouded in mystery and intrigue. But she had kept this secret hidden, not out of malice, but out of love, out of a desire to protect me from the pain of rejection, to allow me to grow up believing in the sanctity of family, the unwavering bond of parental love, the comforting illusion of a stable and secure upbringing. She had hoped that Richard would rise to the occasion, that he would embrace his role as my father, that he would love me as his own, that he would transcend the limitations of his own selfishness. But she had also recognized the possibility of his failure, the potential for his greed to overshadow his compassion, the risk that he would betray my trust for his own financial gain. And so she had prepared a safeguard, a testament to my true identity, a beacon of truth that would guide me through the darkness of his deception, a legacy that transcended the limitations of material wealth. Inside the envelope, nestled beneath the letter, was a sealed document, a DNA test that confirmed my biological relationship to her. It was a tangible proof of my connection to my grandmother, a definitive answer to the questions that had haunted me for so long, a resolution to the mystery that had shrouded my origins. The realization was a wave of emotions, a tsunami of grief, anger, and relief, a tempest of conflicting feelings that threatened to overwhelm me. Grief for the years of deception, the lost opportunities for genuine connection, the betrayal of trust that had shattered the illusions of my childhood. Anger at my father's calculated manipulation, his willingness to sacrifice my happiness for his own gain, his cold and calculated betrayal of my trust. And relief that the truth had finally been revealed, that the shadows of doubt had been banished, that I was no longer adrift in a sea of uncertainty, that the puzzle of my identity had finally been solved. When I confronted Richard with the letter and the DNA test, the color drained from his face, leaving him ashen and gaunt, a stark reflection of the guilt that gnawed at his soul. The carefully constructed facade of paternal concern crumbled, revealing the raw, unadulterated fear that lurked beneath, the terror of exposure and the impending consequences of his actions. He stammered, his voice trembling, attempting to backtrack, to rationalize his actions, to claim that he was just confused, a pathetic attempt to salvage his reputation, to escape the consequences of his betrayal. But his words were hollow, devoid of sincerity, a desperate attempt to manipulate the situation, to perpetuate the lies that had defined our relationship. The damage was irreparable, the trust irrevocably broken, the bridge between us reduced to ashes. I had seen the truth, the cold, hard reality of his deception, and I could no longer pretend that our relationship was anything other than a carefully constructed lie, a calculated performance designed to serve his own selfish purposes. My grandmother, in her wisdom and foresight, had seen the truth long before I did, had recognized the potential for betrayal, and had left me a legacy that transcended material wealth, a testament to my true identity, a beacon of truth that would guide me through the darkness. She had given me the gift of truth, the power to reclaim my identity, to rewrite the story of my life with the ink of resilience and self-discovery, to forge my own path in the world. In the end, I fought for what was rightfully mine, not just the inheritance, but my identity, my sense of belonging, my right to know my own story. I fought for the truth, for the right to define my own narrative, to reclaim my life from the clutches of deception. And I won not just a legal victory, but a victory over the forces that sought to erase my existence, a triumph of truth over lies. But this story is not just about money, about material wealth or financial gain, about the legal battles and the inheritance disputes. It's about the fundamental human need for truth, for authenticity, for the right to know who we are and where we come from, for the right to define our own identities. It's about the resilience of the human spirit, the capacity to overcome betrayal, to reclaim our identity, to rewrite our own stories, to transform ourselves from victims into victors. So let me leave you with this. If someone in your life suddenly attempts to rewrite your past, to redefine your identity, to manipulate your memories, ask yourself, what do they have to gain? What are their motives? What hidden agendas lurk beneath their words and actions? Because sometimes the people closest to us, the ones we trust implicitly, are the ones who wear the most elaborate masks, who conceal their true intentions behind a facade of love and affection, who manipulate our vulnerabilities for their own selfish gain. And when those masks slip, when the truth is finally revealed, the shock can be more profound, more devastating than we ever imagined. A seismic shift that shatters the foundations of our reality. The truth, though often painful, is always liberating. It sets us free from the shackles of deception, empowers us to reclaim our narratives, and allows us to forge our own paths, guided by the unwavering light of self discovery, a beacon that illuminates the path to authenticity and self acceptance. Now consider the lasting effects, the ripple effect of such a revelation, the constant questioning of past memories, the reevaluation of every interaction, the profound sense of isolation, the legal battles, the emotional turmoil, the rebuilding of a shattered identity. The slow, arduous process of reclaiming a life that was built on a lie, the journey of self discovery, the exploration of newfound origins, the forging of new connections, the rewriting of a personal narrative. The acceptance of a new reality, the embracing of a newfound strength, the transformation from victim to survivor, from survivor to warrior, each step a testament to the enduring power of the human spirit, a testament to the resilience that allows us to rise from the ashes of betrayal and forge a new path, a path guided by truth and self discovery.